Naxos is the land of ruthless conquests, reanimation rituals, complex conspiracies, and lethal assassins, and we will discover all about their characters in this chart. I will only focus on characters important enough to the overall story of the region, but if you wanna know more about any of them, you can investigate their character stories, their Legends of Runeterra cards, or, of course, feel free to ask in the comments. Before Naxos even existed, Mordekaiser was already ruling these lands. In his ruthless tyranny, the Iron Revenant made use of two demons as his subordinates, Tibolg, the Demon of Fire, and Atakan, Demon of Darkness. The second one hasn't been fully confirmed, but everything clicks together so nicely it's safe to say it's him. Another pet/servant/slave of Mordekaiser was Veigar, a Yordle expert in celestial magic. After kidnapping him, he made him do terrible magics to increase his power. And not only that, Mordekaiser also had a cabal of sorcerers that rebirthed him, but one of them allied with a mythic blood-sucking beast and planned to betray the tyrant. They were LeBlanc and Vladimir, and this allegiance and successful betrayal was the start of the Black Rose, a secret organization that would control the society and government of the nation that would rise without anyone knowing. After the banishment of Mordekaiser, the tribes that lived under his rule were free, and with time, united under the banner of Naxos. Their first battles were won thanks to the assistance of Kled, a legendary war-thirsty borderline senile Yordle who fought for these people. In the Black Rose, Vladimir was not pleased with sharing the spotlight with LeBlanc and founded his own following, the Crimson Circle. There, Vladimir taught Emomancy to his followers and enjoyed life's many pleasures. By using this magic, they could resurrect legendary soldiers from the past, like Sion, or create artificial living weapons altogether, like Briar. As we mentioned, the Black Rose was secretly in control of Naxos via manipulating the leaders, giving privilege to the noble houses and granting them power. The last one was Boram Darkwill, a leader who became a hollow shell puppeteered by LeBlanc. However, there was a man who changed everything: Jericho Swain. Early in his career, he learned about the Black Rose and managed to expose them and execute some of their leaders, LeBlanc included. However, it was all a plan of hers. The executed LeBlanc was not the real one, and people believed they had been dealt with. This granted him a commission in Shurima, and later, thanks to LeBlanc's plotting, to Ionia, where he was meant to die. He was indeed defeated and almost killed, almost being consumed by a demon, but it wasn't an Ionian demon. It was a demon that had come from Naxos itself, and looking back at it, he found out about how the Black Rose was controlling every single thread in Naxos thanks to him, the Demon of Secrets, Rome. After coming back from the First Lands, Swain orchestrated a plan to stop her. He first sold Urgot as a slave to Son, as he was a mighty executioner loyal to Darkwill and could be a hindrance to his coup. Then, he allied himself with Draven, a famous retired soldier who was a bygone star of the Reconner's arena, helped him overcome his slump and readied him up. He managed to get into the Immortal Bastion and made Rome bend to his will, achieving control of the demon, and had Draven execute Darkwill in a single night. With Darkwill dead, the Black Rose ties to power were severed, and Swain designed a system that prevented them from ever sneaking back. The Trifarix would be a shared leadership between three members, each representing a principle of strength. Vision, represented by Swain, Might, represented by Darius, Draven's brother, and Guile, represented by the Faceless, a secret member whose identity no one knows. If any of them three got corrupted or strayed from their duty, the other two would be able to intervene, killing them if it were necessary. The Trifarix does still make use of the Grey Legion, even when it's controlled by the Crimson Circle and, by extension, by the Black Rose. Sion is frequently used by Swain, but Briar, originally created to kill Swain, is now roaming free and doesn't follow anyone's orders. The current leader of the Grey Legion is the Lady of Blood, Lady Faris Noradi, who introduced the Dr. Slanger to blood magics and reanimation. Faris is also part of the Crimson Circle, just like her daughter and her group of friends. Even when the Black Rose is not fully in control of Naxos anymore, her agents are still busy. Elise Kythira is one of them. LeBlanc had orchestrated her marriage to Berthold Saban, a descendant of the general that once fought alongside Kled, but after they fought and Berthold was assassinated, LeBlanc introduced Elise to the Black Rose and tasked her to find the skull of Mordekaiser. She couldn't find it, but she became a Spider Queen capable of safely traveling to the Shadow Isles, and that was still useful for her. This is a great time to introduce the Ducoto family. The renowned assassin Marcus married the political genius Soreana and had 2 daughters, but the family was split in 2. The older sister Caterina trained the arts of the blade with her father in the Noxian capital, while the younger Cassiopeia trained the arts of diplomacy with her mother in her Shuriman residence. After Caterina failed to meet Marcus' expectations, he sent his adoptive son Talon to kill her. He didn't succeed, but left her forever scarred, and would become friendly siblings from then on. However, nothing is as simple as it seems. Soreana was actually part of the Black Rose and had been instructing Cassiopeia to become one too. Swain's coup distanced her from her position of power, and after finding out that her husband Marcus was actually supporting Swain, she started plotting. While Marcus was on a secret mission in Demacia tasked by Swain himself and assisted by Talon and Jerdan, the Black Rose started to manipulate them, making them distrust the Grand General to the point of orchestrating his assassination. This might be one of the Black Rose's strengths. You could be working for them without even realizing it. Caterina, who was the loneliest in this family, found in her best friend Dran the strength to fight against this situation, and being the right hand of Swain, fought against his brother and his father and emerged victorious. However, now Talon is living with Soreana and Cassiopeia, and whether he will fully align with the Black Rose or not is still to be seen. Caterina might be Swain's right hand, but Darius is Swain's left-right hand? Being the might of the Trifarix, he is the leader of all the military forces of Naxos, and for a nation like Naxos, that is a lot. He was in love with Kilera, although it didn't end well for her, and has worked with Tamara, War Mason of the Empire, who actually has also met his brother Draven multiple times, and even though they don't say it, something romantic seems to be underlying. After his role in Swain's coup, he became the star of the Reckoners, mixing both the glory of a gladiator arena and the suspense of a drama show. The promoter of this concept even brought this idea to Bandle City, where Rumble is the king of the mech arena. Other champions that were part of the arena were Alistar, who was forcefully made to fight and managed to flee, Jin Zhao, who was kidnapped, also had to fight against his will, then was sold to the military and was abandoned by them, and finally Riven, who after fleeing her duty in Ionia, was chased by her old comrades by order of LeBlanc herself, wanting to retrieve the blade that she enchanted and gave her. After being found, she was sentenced to fight in the arena as punishment. The crudest thing the Noxian military is known for is their use of child soldiers, like Talia, who was just a wanderer who was passing by, or Kain, Noxian by birth. The latter one would come back to Naxos years later to steal the Darkin's eyes, with Rast imprisoned inside. We have seen how Swain and LeBlanc struggled for power in Naxos, but let's not forget about the original ruler, Mordekaiser. Fearing his return, LeBlanc has developed a series of academies for young mages to train them and find powerful ones to fight against the Iron Revenant. The one we know the most about is the Ravenbloom Conservatory, ruled by Telsi. In this conservatory, a girl named Amoline was infused with Thibault, as they wanted to use his powers in the invasion of Ionia. She fled the conservatory, met Gregory in the woods, settled down and had a daughter, Annie. However, the demon was still with her, and her daughter inherited the powers of Thibault from her, through Tivers, the teddy bear she made her. After Annie lost her family, she was recruited by the conservatory just like her mother, but she is in almost complete control of the demon, and let's say she let Tivers play around for a bit. Another institution run by the Black Rose is the Rose Guard Academy, and Rel was in this one. Funneling power from other students, they attempt to make Rel the ultimate weapon against Mordekaiser by making use of her ferrokinesis. She escaped from the academy, and now the Black Rose has resorted to Samira, the most talented Thrill-Seeker mercenary, to look after her. Even her boss, Captain Indari, is collaborating with the Black Rose, even though we do not know for sure whether she's happy with this or has been threatened. Oh, and Carthus was such a big fan of death and the kindred that he traveled to the Shadow Isles to become one with death and live permanently in the state of dying. Wow. Only one question is on the table. Who is the Faceless? And that's it for Naxos. I have really loved making this chart, as the placement of many characters and factions also have a lot of meaning. What's your favorite part of Naxos? Who do you think the Faceless is? I'm pretty confident in my answer, but I wanna know yours first. Watch other relationship charts here, or subscribe to be the first to watch next week's relationship chart. Thanks for watching, see ya!